Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, football fans of all ages, Network 216 proudly presents Brian, the redshirt fresh fan, Jason, the perpetual Philadelphia Eagles hater, from the
Yes,
dog
son.
pound to the jungle, from America's team to the pride of Detroit. Buckle up. This is the Rust Belt Rivalry Podcast. And if you ain't down with that, I got two words for you. No, three words for you. Like and subscribe. Jason, how we doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited. I'm coming to you from Eau Claire, Wisconsin tonight. I am in America's Dairyland. I'm full of cheese and I'm ready to talk, my man. Let's talk football. This is football America. I'm a couple hours from Green Bay. Hard hitting offensive line play. Let's do it. Let's just do it, man.
Oh man, we're 2 weeks into camp. Football is finally back. Before we get into it though, I do have to make mention. He's not on the screen, but we do have the newest member of the Rust Belt rivalry hiding in the background. He's clicking buttons. He's going to help us with graphics, bringing on guests, doing all the hard legwork that you'll never see him do. You'll never see him on the screen. You'll just see Jason's beautiful face and my ugly face. We're going to call him Sir Purr for now.
Sure. This is the first time I've known him for like 15 years. It's the first time name has popped up, but I feel like that's his
Hey,
email. That's like his Gmail account from when he was, or his Hotmail account from when he was like 12. Like sirpurse69420 at hotmail.com. Like that's what
hey,
that
we've
is.
all got one. We've all got one.
Hell
Come
yeah,
on
we
now.
do. But
Oh
welcome,
my.
welcome, Sir Purr. Welcome, Sir Purr.
Yeah, give him a shout. Give him some comments in there. Tell Sir Purr how great or terrible he does in this show, and he would love your constructive criticism so he can get better.
But
Sir Purr.
let's hold on. Let's put this out there. He has asked that since it's football preseason, that it's also preseason for Sir Purr. So much like all the teams that are working through their bumps and their bruises, he gets 4 weeks. But after 4 weeks, it's fair game. Lay into him.
Oh, let's give him a challenge right off the rip. Sir Purr, can you pull up the Dubby promo for me? Let's see how this goes.
Oh no.
No. Immediate fail. First time. No, the Dubby. All right. Oh wait, the W disappeared? No, here it is, PK. Here it
Oh,
is.
there we go.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on here. All right, so today's stream is brought to you by Dubby Energy. Get clean, crash-free energy with great flavors and ingredients designed for focus and performance. Head on over to Dubby Energy and they use the code you see on the screen here, Network 216 for 10% off. Get your clean, crash-free energy brought to you by Dubby. Fuel your day. Ah, don't you just feel better? Don't you need a W right now since you've been working so hard all day?
Oh, I could go for a couple W's right now, if we're being honest. Like, so W, if you're out there, like, send me a couple because I could go for a W.
They're coming. They're coming. All right. Well, let's dive right in here, right? We kind of wanted to talk. We had some extensions happen prior to, well, it was in during camp
Mhm.
with the Browns. First big one that happened, first domino that fell was Denzel Ward getting his big extension. Um, it was there we go, locked in, and so he's 62.2 million, 52.3 million guaranteed. He becomes the highest paid cornerback in the league by like $100,000 a year, right? It's like instead of 31 million or whatever, it's 31.1 million. Um, I think this is a lot to do about attitude, right? I think this is when Miles Garrett was traded. Everybody thought, well, Denzel Ward is next, right? They're cleaning house. They're getting rid of all the old valuable veterans, and they're going to bring in a bunch of draft picks, and we're hitting the reset button. I don't believe that's happening. This is proof. This is, Miles Garrett never had a great attitude in the locker room. That's the word on the street. That's not me reporting it. That's everybody I've ever heard talk. He wasn't a great leader, whereas Denzel Ward has been everything you've ever wanted from a leader. From the defensive standpoint, he wanted to be in Cleveland. He's always wanted to be here. He grew up here. Jason, anything bad that you want to say about the Warden before I kick you off the show potentially?
No, I love Denzel Ward. I've always liked him since his days back at Ohio State. I think about it from your perspective as a fan. I want to ask you, like, what is the message to you? Like, how do you feel as a fan today that they've made this investment in what is arguably probably their best defensive player now, who's obviously a locker room leader? Like, how does this make you feel? It's got to be much more optimistic today, about the future versus kind of where, maybe what you had been feeling. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm extremely optimistic. I mean, the thing I did not want to see, the thing I feared the most was doing the 2016 2017 Browns, where it's like completely clean house and start completely fresh with all these young kids. They have to learn from somebody, right? And you already have these great leaders on the team. Like, keep them keep them on the team, right? Pay your players that are good. Um, you can't always just lose and hit reset and just do these 0 and 16, 1 and 15, whatever. So I love the move personally. Like I said, I think by the end of this contract, is he probably going to be overpaid for his what he's going to bring to the team?
Yeah.
Probably, as far as a talent standpoint. But I don't care. Like he's been here through all of this losing and ups and downs, and this is kind of a thank you, right, for dealing with that. And right now he still brings it, right, and he's got a lot that he can teach the young players, and I appreciate that. So I love it.
Yeah, and it makes him kind of untouchable a little bit in the trade market because it's a large contract. So not a lot of people are going to take that on for a guy who's had injury concerns, concussion concerns. I think it solidifies that he probably will spend majority, if not all, of his career in Cleveland, which is awesome. I think from a standpoint of a fan, I mean, you need kind of cornerstone people like that for your franchise, and it's been a while since Cleveland's had a guy like that, and so it's pretty cool. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for Cleveland. I hope he can do some more winning. I really hope he can get some more winning under his belt.
Okay. And then we've got Jeffrey jumping in here, and he says, "Can we have a conversation about Verse and his leadership? It's totally different than Garrett." I couldn't agree more, Jeffrey. I mean, it has been night and day. He's already been a vocal leader, which is what everybody begged Miles Garrett to be for the last 9 years, or what, 8 years, 9 years, however long he's been here. You can see him already in the training camp videos working with other guys. He also made mention of going to some things this offseason and working with other big name defensive ends. But I mean, his leadership has been clear as day. Just from the few clips I've seen, I haven't even been able to get to camp yet, but it's been great. And that's all I've seen. I don't know, Jason, have you seen anything from your perspective?
So my Twitter algorithm is a lot of in the last week spent a lot of with Cowboys camp and a lot of Reds baseball. I'm a big Reds fan. Trade deadline or lack of trade deadline moves, I will say, and I don't want to get into the Reds baseball right now, but it's really they're now being considered the Cleveland Browns of Major League Baseball as far as how they're being run as an organization, which is not where you want to be. But I've seen a couple clips where he has been working with some of the younger players. I think just in general, I think having possibly a smaller ego on that defensive side of the ball is probably a good thing. More team defense. I am excited to see how it all works out. And this whole super team thing. Like if you look at like in baseball, you got the Dodgers. I read today that Aaron Donald worked out today with the Rams. So that's impending, to happen as well. I don't think it's going to work as well as people think it's going to work. So we'll see how it is. And I'm a big Stafford fan, but the Monstars don't always win. So
Nope, nope, they certainly do not. I just watched the Odyssey yesterday, and Goliath doesn't always beat David, right?
I don't think he ever does he? I think that's how that story goes.
Oh yeah, one other extension. Garrett didn't show up to camp, and that's why the team wasn't close to him. Yeah, I mean the other thing, Jeffrey, that I noticed, I think a lot of people noticed, was that you didn't hear any players like complaining when he got traded. Like you didn't hear anybody, you know, when Verse got traded, you saw all the Rams players were like, "Oh man, we lost a great one. Like he's going to go on and be great." Blah blah blah, coming out of the woodwork. But when Miles left, you didn't see that coming from anybody on the defense. Yeah, Fatty at work. Thank you. No hotel battles anymore. Well, not this week, but there's plenty of opportunity for us to have hotel battles moving forward. Uh, and then the other player that was extended, which was kind of a surprise for the Browns, was yes, Grant Delpit. Now I don't have the specifics on his contract. I don't know that it's even out yet. Oh, there it is at the bottom actually. 3 years, 16 million a year. So again, another great move. I think I was concerned because Andrew Berry has this pattern of like if he doesn't usually sign people before their last year of their contract, he typically doesn't extend them. So I was concerned that he was not going to get this deal done, but this is super exciting to me. This ensures that we have Delpit locked in for multiple years. Obviously, we've got E-Man, Emmanuel McNeil Warren from Toledo that they just drafted, which I'm really excited about. And then still have Ronnie Hickman. They're talking about possibly doing 3 safety sets on defense, kind of mixing it up and taking advantage of all this talent that they have in the safety room. So I'm pumped. I think this is great. I think if we can keep Hickman too past this year, I'll be super pumped. But you know, at least we have Delpit and Emmanuel McNeil Warren. So I think this is a great move.
I want to stay here real quick. So is something as a Buckeye fan that I always kind of marvel at is it's very rare to see it where like the player is better in the NFL versus college. Ronnie Hickman is that rare case where like he is a dog in the NFL, and it's like in college he was a good player, but he was just like kind of there. He was a guy on the defense, like a leader on the defense, more of an upperclassman. A lot of people think he started because he was an upperclassman, and it's like now he gets to the league and he's a turnover machine. He's a leader. I mean, it's interesting for me to see how he's progressed as like just a guy to like a really pretty good NFL player.
Well, yeah, he was an undrafted free agent, and basically since he came into the league, he's been a starter for the Browns.
That's awesome. I
Um,
think that's a really cool story.
I don't know if that was a lot to do with Jim Schwartz's crybaby defense in the schemes, but I guess we'll see. We'll find out this year, right? This is Rutenberg's defense now, and it's a different team. So
Rutenberg, that's his name.
yeah, I think that's how you say it. I don't know. I'm not a professional pronunciation machine
You're,
over here, but you know, I think
you have
that's
a
about it.
podcast, Brian. You're supposed to be. Come on.
You wanna talk draft players coming out of the draft, and you think you're gonna get all the names right?
There were some tough ones this year.
I would love to see it. I believe that Todd said they might try DeJuan Jones at right guard. Oh, that'd be fine. I
Love
mean,
it.
I'm fine with that.
He's
I
a
mean,
mountain of a human being. Like if he is gonna like, he's got to be useful somewhere. And I think guard. The older he gets, the more he's gonna be broken down. But the thing that's not gonna change is his size and strength. So put him in closer to the ball, line of scrimmage. Let him go against defensive tackles. I love that move because he has tackle skills. So he still has the pass blocking ability. I would love that move. Um, like an O line junkie, like I would love that. That'd be really cool to see.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm not a big believer in Tevin Jenkins. He didn't impress me at all last year.
No,
So the only thing is like you can't roll Dylan out if you're gonna play Dylan Gabriel at all. You can't roll him out to the right because he can't see over DeJuan Jones.
and
So
he can't see over you, like or me. Like,
that's true. And I'm like this to DeJuan, like, what are you doing?
yeah.
Uh, is it me or does this offseason feel different? Completely different to me. I think everybody called Kevin Stefanski's Camp Cupcake. There's been plenty of reporters that have said that he cut the camp early, didn't take full advantage of the full 2 hours. I don't know if you saw some of the clips, but they're doing all these different drills where they're like trying to punch the ball out of the running back's hands. Like it's just totally different in my opinion. I think you're spot on there, Jeff. Um, but talking about the defensive side of the ball is kind of what we've been focusing on, mostly talking about these extensions. We also wanted to dive in a little bit to the Detroit Lions defense. Um, Jason, take us away. You want to talk Lions defense? Here's your chance, buddy.
I keep boy, can't wait to talk Lions defense. It's really painting me in the corner here, man. No, I think it's interesting because a lot of the writers I'm seeing, like SI and Football Focus, all these articles and things are coming out about projecting the Lions to winning the division, to winning the NFC North. And if you've listened to this podcast before, or listened to us talk before, I just don't see that. And it's starting with me on the defensive side of the ball. I think that they didn't do enough to address all this. I still think, I read that Brian Branch thinks he's going to be back by the start of the season. He's still not doing football activity as of, I believe, whatever is this, week 1, 2 of training camp. Kirby Joseph is still working on the side. So that's your two starting safeties not working. They're saying that they're optimistic that Kirby Joseph will be healthy. I don't know about you, but when a team uses the word optimistic, I'm never optimistic. I know it seems like one of those coach words. The Derek Moore has a groin injury, so the guy they drafted, the defensive end out of Michigan, is out 7 to 10 days with a groin injury. Now you might sit here and say it's 7 to 10 days. I'm going to tell you it's a soft tissue injury to an area of the body that gets a lot of movement from the edge position. So could be very much a lingering thing, and it's also a very big deal, I think, for a rookie to miss 10 practices, 10 of their first practices. So already going to be behind the 8 ball there with a potential lingering groin injury. And then Jimmy Rolder, the guy I have lamented this pick for many, many shows now about I don't understand it. I don't think it's a great pick. Michigan Wolverine for Sir Purr. Never a good pick in my opinion, along with Derek Moore. But he's out with a hamstring injury already. And so their comment was, we don't think it's long term, but we don't think it's season ending, but he'll be back, or something like that, where it was just like, if you're throwing the words season ending even in the lexicon at this point of the year, like, again, not a good thing. So, I'm skittish on the Lions defense. I'm very concerned that they're not going to have the depth that it's going to take, especially that linebacker, the edge, the pass rush in general. I did see that they are having some success this year. Tyleik Williams is having some success at camp. He was one of the bright spots the other day, which is a great thing. Obviously, a Buckeye fan, but he was a first-round pick, and the last thing you want is for your organization to whiff on their first-round picks. Now, as a Cowboy fan, we've whiffed on very few first-round picks. One of them being a defensive tackle from Michigan. So I just common theme here, but so I'm concerned about the defensive production in Detroit. It's never good when you read stories about especially in training camp. And I always love this. And I love it, and it also is one of the things that baffles me. It's like people always talk about, the offense is looking great in training camp. They're winning. We're so excited. It's like, yeah, but at the expense of your defense. They're the same team, guys. You can't have you want to have spirited stalemate practices where it's like, I don't know who won that practice. I don't think it's been that way necessarily in Detroit yet so far. But hopefully, the things get worked out. They need depth at the cornerback position still. I did read the other day they had who's been who's been bright spots at camp and who's been the dark spots at camp, and they had 4 names as people that had bad couple days of camp, and 3 of the 4 were defensive backs. And I'm just like, this is not setting up well when you're in division with Caleb Williams and Jordan Love. So I'm concerned, and I want to talk about this mainly because of where a lot of these. Oh, come on! I mean, get out of here! Fail to the victor.
Yeah, we can't do that. Come on, none of that blue stuff in here. Boo.
But I don't know. It's just I think that it's I see where a lot of them are putting them in a division with Love, and whatever Kyler Murray can provide. I mean, the Vikings have a great receiving core. So it's like, again, they're going to attack that as best they can. So I can't sit here and say that I'm optimistic, as they would say, about the Lions defense so far in camp. However, I have heard really good things on the offensive side of the ball about Blake Miller. I was kind of skeptical about the draft pick a little bit because, career starter at right tackle. Really, the answer, or what the people would always say about him was he's solid. Like, it's like, well, he's a first round pick. Like, you want hopefully better than solid. So, but apparently he's been doing well, and he's won a lot of his pass block reps against Aiden Hutchinson. Doesn't say much. Again, Michigan Wolverine, the whole story here. But, and they said he's looked really good in run blocking. So, again, a little more optimistic there on the offensive side of the ball in Detroit. We'll see how the camp progresses, but I'm just worried about the health of the defense. And I really want that to come together for one more year, but I'm concerned about that.
Well, it's funny that like when you're talking, I'm like, dude, I listened to some So prior to this year, I only ever listened to Browns podcasts.
Yeah.
This year, I started listening to like different teams' podcasts, and everybody is saying almost the exact same thing. They're talking about these certain players that had great days, and then they're talking about how dominant the defense is, which the defense is always dominant at the beginning because the offense is installing things.
Yep.
But all four of our teams all said the same thing, and they're all like, "Oh, the injuries are piling up." It's like, okay, these guys haven't played in how long? They're finally hitting pads. Like, yes,
Yeah.
but again, it is the exact same storyline coming out of every camp. If you listen to any other team's camp, like podcasters or whatever, it's all, oh, the defense was dominant today, and there's injuries that are piling up, and they don't know, they're not ready for all of this. Like,
Yeah. Season's over.
oh, here you go. Dominant on these nuts for the Michigan folks. Justin's jumping in here. Good evening, guys. Uh, does Brian know there was a pod last night? They're just crapping all over me now. Come on.
You deserve it, though, I'm sure. I mean, it's.
Yeah. He was busy trying out for the WNBA. Oh my god! If I could hang out with Sophie for one day, I mean, I'd be pretty happy about that. Just
She'd whoop you.
oh, absolutely.
In
Are you kidding
basketball
me?
and in a fight. Like, I think she'd take you.
Bro, my basketball like prowess capped out in like seventh grade. Okay,
Oh, I've seen your videos. Don't worry, I've seen your TikToks of shooting baskets.
bro, I made that on the first try. By the way, me and my daughter were so impressed.
I don't
I
believe
know
it.
you don't have to believe me. That's fine. I can show you the unedited clip, but that's okay. That's neither here nor there. That was a one-time deal. um, so before we bring on a special guest, we're gonna test out Sir Purr one more time. Sir Purr, can we talk about the giveaway that you already kind of
Spoiled.
surprised us with? Can we talk about the giveaway? So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you before we even announce it on Twitter, we are giving away a signed 8x10 Tim Couch photo to one lucky fan. I purchased this photo. I know it has the legit primetime authenticated stamp on it. I opened up the packaging myself. This thing is in pristine shape. It is signed. All you have to do, follow Rust Belt Rivalry on Twitter, like the post that we're going to make later on Twitter, repost it, and if you want, tell us your favorite Browns quarterback memory. If you want a bonus entry on your chance to win, you can also tag a fellow Browns fan in a separate reply, and then we'll actually do the live, in 2 weeks, we're going to do a live drawing for who wins. So make sure to go get your entries in. How could you not love a Tim Couch signed memorabilia? I mean, my goodness.
I tried really hard to get a Tim Couch autographed couch to give away, but he just wouldn't sign the white leather, patent leather couch I had for him to sign. So we got a picture instead. So we're excited to start giving things to our fans and drawing in some fan base. But yeah, how cool would be a Tim Couch autographed couch? You'd be one
I
of
thought
one for sure.
I thought you were going to say a black couch. I was like, where are we going here?
Nope.
All right. So enough of that. Without further ado, I want to welcome in for the first time on the Rust Belt Rivalry podcast. He is the co-founder of Draft to the Future, an amateur draft analyst. He's a fan of several college teams. The motto that they follow is data driven, film confirmed. And the reason we're bringing him in is because he is a die-hard Bengals fan. And we're going to pick his brain about all things Bengals so that you guys have a better education because me and Jason are not Bengals experts. But this guy is. Let's give a warm welcome to our friend Ryan Sparks.
How
Ryan,
y'all doing?
Welcome,
How y'all
Ryan.
doing?
First, before you started, I gotta say, like, data-driven film confirmed. That couldn't be farther to the opposite for Brian and I. Like, we're just two idiots talking sports that have no idea what we're doing. No data is involved, and the only films we're watching are like stupid YouTube videos, and I don't even think we're watching those. So, good to have an expert on the show.
Yeah. I like to call myself an amateur here, but yeah, lots of research, lots of fun doing all that stuff.
We're happy to have you, Ryan. Thanks for showing up tonight.
love it. Yeah, I was going to say the last time we interacted was the epic mock draft 2026 back in April. So I kind of wanted to get your thoughts. Since then the Bengals had an actual draft, right? And they've had an off season, and we all know, according to the Pat McAfee show, they talk about it every day. Sexy Dexy is at it again, and he's making great moves. So tell us about your thoughts on the Bengals off season, and what are you excited?
I mean, honestly, it was a shocking offseason. Um, I think that was the thing for me is I just honestly couldn't believe that they did the things that they did. They don't trade picks like that. They don't trade for big players like that. Um, so that's the first thing because I was happy with some of the players they signed. With Boye Mafe, with Brian Cook, even the like Duggar acquisition. Some of those guys, I'm like, all right, cool, we're making good moves, and I think I checked like 40 different pages before I believed that they actually made that trade. I had been like giving people a hard time saying it's fun to talk about, but they're not going to do it. So why, why waste it? Like why waste the conversation? But then they did. So I think it shows that one, they know if they waste the next couple years of Burrow, they're going to lose them, and two, that they have a chance. They just have to have a competent defense. When we went to the Super Bowl, it was like the 18th ranked scoring defense for the season. Like they don't need a Browns level defense. All right, we just need competent play.
No, they do not. Jason, what do you got for Ryan? I know you got some Bengals questions.
So with the injury this week of Shamar Stewart, how does that change the defensive outlook? I think that they added a lot to that defense. I thought they did a great job in free agency, the draft, the trades. I thought they did a great job, but I would imagine last year's first round pick was probably going to be an important piece of this year's defense. So how do they replace that, and how big of a blow is this to that defense?
So I think it's definitely a blow, and it sounds like he'll probably be back before the season. They're saying 4 to 6 weeks because it was just a hyperextension. So, like, luckily that scare is gone. I just hope they don't rush him. Um, the plan for him was, he was probably going to be like DE3. Mafe and Murphy were going to be the starters, but there was going to be a heavy rotation in that edge room. Cassius Howell, the second round pick, and him were going to be moving all around the line. Cassius more like outside linebacker, and him being more like a 3-4 edge, playing inside and out. And so it definitely cuts down on some of the versatility a little bit. But we have some other young guys that I think will be good to see what we get out of them. We've got this kid, Cedric Johnson, who's flashed at times. A guy that a lot of people liked in the draft, Antoine Powell Ryland, who we picked up on waivers last year. Isaiah Foskey, a former highly touted Notre Dame guy. So there's these guys that are going to get some shots to play now, but it's definitely a hit I personally was not the biggest Shamar Stewart fan. From the analytics side of things, history says he's not likely gonna work out, um, and I'm hoping to be proven wrong. So it's a shame that he's missing this camp because he kind of missed last year's camp with a little holdout too. So now it's just 2 camps in a row that he's not there.
Yeah.
I think it's like a big deal, like you're talking about missing that time, because I think it's exactly what Detroit's dealing with now with Derek Moore, the edge that they drafted from Michigan, is missing the first 7 to 10 practices, and a lot of people are saying, well, it's 7 to 10 practices, but it's a groin injury, and it's. But I would agree with you, missing time in your rookie year, your first 2 years is a really big deal. So I would agree with that. Now, is there today someone on the free agent market that you would say, let's bring him in and give him a run? There's one name that I have that I'm thinking might be worth a shot, but you tell me what your thoughts are.
Honestly, in the edge room, like the guy people were talking about was Clowney, but he just signed.
See that? Where'd he sign?
He signed with the Texans. He went back. Yeah, so that was the guy I was thinking. So it's a little unfortunate.
I thought I had it fixed completely. I thought I had your problems fixed. I was giving you Jadeveon Clowney tonight. It was going to be awesome, but you just burst my bubble. So thanks, Ryan.
Is Bobby Wagner still available?
I believe so. That'd be an interesting pickup. A lot of Bengals fans are calling for that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they'll do it or not. It feels like we're in store for like a late, veteran signing. They just cut a player, so they're only at 89 right now. So there's a spot. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Okay. And you had mentioned, and actually my buddy that's a huge Bengals fan was like writing me about this today. So there's been a big change on the offensive side. Joe Burrow is playing under center, I understand, which he has never done, I guess, right?
He probably one of the lowest percentages of under center of any team in all of football. He does not play under center. He likes to be able to see the field and diagnose things because his superpower is up here. So he likes to be able to see things and diagnose pre-play, and so he doesn't go under center. And then part of that too is our offensive line has historically been rough, and the run game has been wildly inefficient most of his career. Even when we have good numbers, it's inefficient numbers. It's just like volume. So it's something that they're clearly making a priority, and it not looking great right now. But I'm not worried about the offense. Yeah, I'm not worried about the offense, but I like that they're forcing it. Like they're like, hey, no, we're getting this into the rotation so we can have something to make defenses think.
Okay. I like
It's always
that.
good. It's always good to make the defenses think, right? Like it's keep them on their toes a little bit. I would agree. I think the offense looks like world beaters. Like where do you think? I saw a list of like quarterbacks that popped out this week of like the top tiers and all. I hate lists like that. I prefer backup quarterback lists if we're being honest. Like I think that's where you make your money in all of this. This is my wheelhouse that I'm cornering the market on. But do you still believe Joe's a tier 1 quarterback? Do you still think he's up there with where like you say Mahomes, Allen? I think they put Mahomes, Allen, him, and I forget who the fourth. Oh, Stafford. Were the he's up there?
Yeah, I've got 5. I've got Mahomes, Allen, Stafford, Burrow, Jackson. What order do you put them in? I don't care. I literally don't care. Like obviously as a Bengals fan, I'm saying Burrow is number 1. But availability is like the biggest ability. So when people say that Burrow shouldn't be there because of the injuries, I'm like, okay, I got you. And I don't like that doesn't bother me. But like on the field, when healthy, those 5 guys are just like, they're a tier. And then there's like 15 guys after that are like in the next tier. And that's what the coaches and the execs and stuff voted in that one poll that came out too. So that's kind of how I view it.
Yeah, and I don't want to bring up old memories here, but Brian, did you see where they put Jalen Hurts? You heard it here first. Um, I'm the big Eagle hater here, the resident Eagle hater. But so I'm going to give you a sentence here, and and the question is going to be, what needs to happen for this to be true? Cincinnati Bengals win the AFC North. What has to happen for that to be true?
Burrow is healthy, and the defense is top 20. That's it. Just need the defense to be top 20.
Which one of those is harder, Burrow healthy or defense top 20? Because I honestly, that doesn't seem like it's that difficult to accomplish those two things.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, based off of history, it's like every other year for Burrow. So knock on wood, this is a year he should theoretically be healthy. So for me, it's just getting those defensive pieces. Like, how quickly does it come together? Um, the addition of Dexter Lawrence and seeing what he's doing to a pretty, like, last year our offensive line was actually really solid, and those guys are all back, and he's making them look like me out there trying to block. And he, like, quarterbacks don't like pressure up the middle, and he's just tearing it up. So if he has that type of impact, it could happen quick. But that's the big question for me, is like, can it get there quick enough?
All right, so next question. Is it the same answer for the Bengals to win the AFC? Like, is it that easy in your mind that it's top 20 defense and Burrow's health?
Yeah, it is. Like, I think top 20 defense, I'm confident we're going to the AFC Championship if Burrow's healthy. Now you push top 15, top 10, and I'm gonna be unbearable. Um, but like,
Yeah.
I would say we
I
won't have if you're unbearable with the Browns because or the Bengals because we have all these Browns people out here to placate to.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Um,
we can't have too much celebrating going on
yeah,
for the Bengals.
it can't be too fun around here. You're gonna have a miserable Lions and Cowboys fan over here. You're gonna have a miserable Browns fan over there, and now we're gonna bring the jovial Bengals fan in. Like, can't happen.
So,
Kidding.
somebody would have to pick up the show at that point, for
Yeah.
all the dumps. Like, oh yeah, Joe Burrow gets to go to another Super Bowl. Yeah, yeah. So I've been hearing again. I've been trying to listen to some Bengals stuff. Um, I've been hearing some great things about Kobe Young, and I've also been hearing about T. Higgins being on some kind of like workload or something. So talk about the wide receiver room. I mean, we obviously all know about Jamar, right? No, Chase. Um, Tell us about Kobe Young and T. Higgins. What's going on with those two?
Yeah, so with T, I think he's had some issues in the past in training camp where he ends up getting some cramps and dealing with some little things like that. So I think it's just a precautionary thing, and because we know what we have in T. Um, but with Colby Young, now there was some like stuff that happened in his past that's a little questionable, but apparently it all got cleared. So, you know, I I have to trust that that's the case with that. But his talent on the field is absolutely wild. And the catches he's making in camp, he looks like T. Higgins 2.0. Because he's a big guy too. He's being dominant in the jump balls. His route running is surprisingly good because when I watched him last draft cycle, I didn't see a lot of great routes on film, but it's looking like he's put in some work this offseason. And it could just be the fact that, he's got two great wide receivers around him. But he's what everybody thought Jermaine Burton was going to be, who, flailed out and couldn't stay out of the casino. So things didn't go well for him. Um, but it looks like we found a dude, and he could be pushing Andre Yoshivas for that 3 spot. And his college teammate Noah Thomas is looking pretty good. He was a UDFA, but he's looking good in camp too. So, the if there's one thing the Bengals can do, it's find wide receivers. I'm almost 40 years old, and I can't remember a time they didn't have incredible wide receivers.
Yeah.
It's so true. Who's your favorite Bengal of all time? Like, give me your favorite Bengal receiver and player of all time. I just gotta know. I was off the cuff completely.
Uh, Receiver is Hushmanzada. Um, Honorable mention Jordan Shipley out of Texas. Just loved that dude. But then my favorite Bengal of all time is probably got to be Anthony Munoz. I met him at a high school game,
Hmm.
and he was just so dominant in his entire career, and like he was such a honest, genuine guy when I got to meet him. Like he could have just brushed me off, but that made me like an even bigger fan of the already like Hall of Fame guy.
Very cool.
So, with you being a draft and college aficionado,
Mm-hmm.
who are you? This is not Bengals related, but I want to know who are some maybe a couple surprise players that we should keep our eye on in college football this year?
Man, there's a few. One guy that I really like is Ray Coney. He's the middle linebacker for Texas A&M. We actually just interviewed him the other day, um,
Oh, cool.
and he was incredible at Tulsa last year. He's actually out of Fairfield, Ohio, um,
Hmm.
and he was under recruited though because he was a little maybe not necessarily like um, the biggest school and didn't get the attention that he wanted. So he started at an FCS school, then went up to Tulsa and just dominated. And now he's going to the SEC, and like he's talked about his coaching and how incredible it is. I think in a relatively weak linebacker class, I think he's a guy that can shoot up from the. He's in like the 120s for the consensus board right now. I could see him shooting up into day one, early day two conversation.
Dang.
So I really really like him. And then let's see, all my Toledo Rockets went to uh, went to the NFL last year that I was high on. So
That's
um,
okay.
I'm a BG grad, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
um, but I think my other one is the wide receiver out of Houston, Amari Thomas. Um, if you go watch some of his flash plays, do you? I don't know if you all remember. There was like a couple plays where Jamar Chase catches a ball, and you're like, "Oh, that's a 10-yard gain," and then all of a sudden he's in the end zone. You're like, "What just happened?" There was like 8 guys there.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Amari Thomas did that like 3 times last year. Like it did make sense. Like how did he get out of that, and how did he make it to the end zone? And he's a
Mm,
similar size to Chase. I'm not saying he is Chase, but he's a guy that fewer people are talking about that I think is going to have an insane season.
nice. Jason, you have any other questions for Ryan?
Well, I mean, if this is I want to get out on this one because we've been asking a lot of people like the predictions and it's prediction season. So, where do you think the Bengals fall in the AFC? Let's just play the game as like Burrow is healthy all year. The status quo. So, where do you think they finish in the division? What do you think their record's going to be? And then tell us how they finish the year in your mind.
I don't like, necessarily jinxing or anything like that, but I don't care. I honestly think that I think the defense is going to take the step. Um, I think Burrow's going to stay healthy. I think they're going to go 13-4. They've got a really tough couple start. Like they start with the Bucks and Texans. So I think they're going to like finish the season super hot, go 13-4, get the 1 seed, and I think they're bringing home the bowl this year. I think
I
it's
think it's
actually gonna be Bengals versus Rams, and instead of Aaron Donald bursting through the line and sacking Joe Burrow, it's gonna be Dexter Lawrence bursting through the line, sacking Matthew Stafford to close out the game.
Dang.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble because the Browns are winning the Super Bowl this year. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble, Ryan, but
I thought they were winning the first pick.
they're winning. They might win the first game of the year. We'll just start there.
Grief. Oh my goodness. All right, Ryan. Well, I appreciate you joining us, man. I appreciate your time. Take a few minutes, however long you want, man. Tell everybody where they can find you. How can we support you, man?
Yeah, on X or Twitter, I'm at Ryan D2TF, like you see on the screen. And then we've got Draft of the Future on Instagram, Twitter, and then also on YouTube. For Draft of the Future, we do draft analysis. We also are super nerds, so we do what's called a shadow team, which is really fun. It's basically building your own team through the draft. But I think my favorite thing we do is we interview players, and we only interview players that we have belief in. And we focus on not just their on the field play, but who they are as people. And me and my co-host, we're storytellers by trade. We did that in the military for a long time, and so it's one of those things that we just love to talk to these guys pursuing their dreams. So that's where you can find us on YouTube. The Ray Coney video actually is dropping tomorrow, which is pretty fun. So
Nice.
yeah, check us out.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, man. We'd love to have you in later on, and we'll, hopefully be talking about your 13-4 Bengals heading into the postseason,
All right. Appreciate y'all.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. All right. Man. That was great.
Bengals Super Bowl. I like it. It's a gutsy pick.
Yeah.
I can see the world where it can happen. I do see what I do see it. I do see a world. In a world.
Oh man. Well, let's dive into a little bit of Cowboys talk, shall we? I think the biggest thing you want to talk about was the Cowboys defense. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the Cowboys defense and what we can expect this year?
Yeah, so news out of camp has been very positive, which is unusual. And typically how Dallas training camp goes is Jerry Jones has a press conference to start it out, and it's an absolute circus freak show of like what the things he says, and it's just never a good thing. So, but he's kind of turned the reins over culturally to Schottenheimer, which he has not done with his head coaches is far back to Bill Parcells. Like, I've obviously been a fan for a long time, and he's not given up the reins to anybody but Parcells. And so he's really trusting Schottenheimer, the culture of his team, which is really changing kind of how they interact, the way that practices are. You mentioned Camp Cupcake. That is something that they have been accused of as well in the past. Not hitting, not tackling. The videos I'm seeing, everything's changed in that regard. Also, he's not tolerating any fighting during camp. If you fight, you get kicked out and you get fined. So yesterday, Donovan Azaraku, who's going to be one of their starting edges possibly, or at least heavily in the rotation, got escorted out of camp. And that's big. That's lost time. That's lost money. Interesting how that's all working out. Now, the defense... The news early, which has been, where Dallas has struggled so mightily over at least last year, is their secondary looks really, really good. Kobe Durant, a guy they signed from the Rams, who played really well in the nickel there, apparently has been lights out in camp so far. I will knock on every piece of wood I can find because, Savon Revel, who's coming off of, kind of a redshirt rookie year with his with an ACL injury, and then Deron Bland, who's usually good for about 8 games a season. Hopefully, both are playing really well. Both are healthy. The safeties look really well, and that's not even counting Caleb Downs. They're saying Caleb Downs looks fine, but everyone else looks really good. So I'm really excited about that. I think they're well on their way to, as we talked, a lot of the Bengals similarities are there with the Cowboys. Like, if they can just have a serviceable defense, top 18, top half of the league maybe, they can go deep into this season. There are some concerns I think we've talked about on the offensive side of the ball, but they were a historically bad defense last year. And so it's like, let's figure that out first. And something else that they've talked about is Quinnen Williams is a really good defensive tackle. And there a lot of people are praising him, but Kenny, the other guy, number 95, he is his last name's escaping right now. It's been a long day, so please chat, fill me in here. But actually, that's Sir Purr's job. Sir Purr, you figure that out. But I I want to say Kenny Powers, but I know that's definitely not it. But they're talking about him being the most fundamentally sound defensive tackle in the league. So if you can get two of those guys up the middle that you have not had historically over the last 10 years, we've watched playoff game after playoff game or big game after big game where teams just get chunk yards, and at the end of the game, they're bleeding the clock for 6-7 minutes at the end of the game, and you have no chance. And so with those two guys in the middle, you got a good defensive backfield. Now we got to get the linebackers figured out. If we can get that figured out, I think we're well on the way to serviceable, and maybe better than serviceable. I'm really excited about Christian Parker. They're saying that he's so far turning out to be everything that they kind of hoped to be. Again, this is week 1 though of camp, so everybody is super great week 1 of camp. Everything looks great. We're showing up, we're hitting football. We feel good. Call me in 6 weeks. Let's see where we are in 6 weeks on this. But I'm excited where things have started, because the last couple of years it's been like the offense is absolutely torching these guys in camp, and you don't really want to hear that. So, but I'm excited, and I think that the offense. We talked about some of the running back rotation and all that stuff, but focusing on the defense today, I think all signs are pointing to positive. But I'm holding on for dear life.
Yeah, well, you got Jeff in here that says, "Would somebody please save my man Dak Prescott?" And then he also, his opinion is, it's not good. You got to let the players fight it out. Scuffles are good. I mean, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people go either way on that. I think they can become a distraction too. I think if it's an organic thing that happens week 3 of camp, fine. Week 1 of camp, come on. Like, what is there to fight about week 1 of camp? Like, figure out how to get to the field first. Like, let's figure out how to tie our shoes, buckle our chin straps. Like, let's meet our teammates. Like, come on. Like, week 1, like, you're looking for a fight week 1. Week 3, week 4, fine. We can excuse it. If you're playing, another team, fine. We can excuse it. But realistically, and we've talked about this, like with Dallas, they've had a culture of like just ineptitude and being undisciplined, like massively undisciplined. So discipline starts at the top with your head coach not accepting shit at practice like that. And so like he's laying the bar down. And if that saves Dallas a 15-yard penalty somewhere down the line in a big game, let's camp no scuffle, camp no fight. Give it to me.
Fair enough. All right, one other big news factor for the Dallas Cowboys, or maybe a former Dallas Cowboy, our good friend that used to be employed by CBS is now no longer employed by CBS. I hope you had not seen this graphic before just now. Our good buddy Tony Romo, which if you've been living under a rock and you missed the internet over the last week, his camera footage is everywhere. He has one or two pops on the golf course, and again, to my point, we talk about this all the time. Like, you have all the money in the world. Why the hell are you driving yourself? You're drinking. Why the hell are you driving? I mean, we've got buddies that have been in the same situation as Tony, and I don't say anything different to them than I do on this show. I think it is absolutely silly in 2026 that you cannot just take an Uber or whatever, But Jason, how do you feel about Mr. Romo here and his mishaps?
First of all, this graphic is insane. This is great. Look at that jaw. Like, he only wishes he had this look. And number 4, I mean, whatever AI we used for this one, let's send that to this crap heap. However, I will say this. We've talked about like not condoning this. I mean, this is a terrible look. And, does he deserve to get fired over it? I don't know. Is he officially gone? Like, I don't know if he's officially gone or not. Is he officially out? I honestly, I think CBS was looking for an excuse to get out of his contract, if we're being honest. It's a very big, bloated contract. I think his abilities and his kind of style has started to rub people the wrong way. I think it's become somewhat unwatchable. Like, oh, Jim, I don't know. Like, I mean, now we know, Tony. We're not having to watch you on Sunday afternoon. So that's fine. I do think he'll pop up somewhere else. I think, he's been a respected voice here for, going on 6-7 years now. So I think he'll pop up somewhere else along the line. Those studio shows are always looking for somebody. But the guy doesn't need money, from my understanding. He, maybe this is good for him. If this is an issue for him, maybe this is good for him. But idiot all around. Like you throw it away. So that's the rumor. Drunk to take him down is right, but you know what? I can see that happening. I'll be honest with you. Like, have you ever seen the show Mad Men? Have you ever watched Mad Men? Where so there's a scene that's like iconic where the main character Don Draper's in the elevator, and one of his like peon assistants like says, "I feel bad for you," and Don Draper looks at him and says, "I don't think of you at all." That's Tom Brady to Tony Romo. Like Tom Brady does not think about Tony Romo at all. My 2 cents.
I agree. And Sir Purr did confirm he was not fired yet. He is, he is on an indefinite leave from his role at the network. So not technically fired, but, in pretty muddy water, I guess, so to speak. One other thing we'll touch on real quick with the Lions. I know Vita Vea, we'll probably touch on this a little bit more next week. Vita Vea of the Buccaneers is basically demanding a trade, and conversations have completely stopped on that end with the Buccaneers. But Jahmyr Gibbs is in a bit of a holding pattern right now. Bijan Robinson finally got paid yesterday. Resets the market, of course. And we've kind of just been expecting Gibbs to kind of follow suit, right, and just get that one notch, maybe that $100K extra a year over what Bijan got. What do you think the holdup is as a Lions fan?
It's interesting. So sometimes, they don't announce these things publicly until a certain date. So sometimes they're done, and they wait for a certain time to announce them, whether it's like the week before the season. There could be also a thing where it's an agreed upon, number, like you said, like Bijan plus 100 or Bijan plus whatever it is, and it's like, okay, it's an agreed upon thing. We trust each other. We're not gonna let this be a camp distraction. So it's hard to tell what's holding up without being in it, but I'm confident it will get done. I think the Lions would be foolish not to do it. Again, we talked earlier about like a cornerstone player, and very much like, is Gibbs a great community guy? He's a cornerstone player. He's one of, if not the most exciting player, I think, in the league. I mean, anytime the guy touches the ball, it's 6 on the other end potentially. So I think they'd be foolish not to. However, I will say this. The Lions are notorious for being really bad with their stars. Like, just ask Kelvin Johnson and Barry Sanders. Like, both, they've been very bad with their stars and how to handle their stars. I just hope they're different here, because I do feel like they got a really good one here. And I hope it gets done before the season starts, so that none of this conversation carries over into week 1. Because at that point, you're really not negotiating contracts during the season.
That is very fair. I agree. I think it'll be done. I think it's only a matter of hours or days or whatever. But I think they get it done before the season. I don't think there's going to be a problem there. One other thing before we close up shop. So Nick Wright kind of stole your thunder. He took your take and expanded it times like 20. So for those of you that didn't hear, Nick Wright on his show said that that Nick Sirianni was going to be fired before or at the end of this year, and also Zach Taylor of the Bengals head coach was going to be fired at the end of this season. And on top of that, he said that Sirianni is going to come coach the Bengals in 2027-2028 season. Jason, how do you feel about your stuff just getting stolen by those that are bigger than us?
Nick, you're welcome. Nick Wright, you're welcome for the take. It's great to have you watching and listening to the show. I'm really glad that you're listening to us and taking us seriously and piggybacking off of my personal takes here. And I have a lot of a lot of them that I can sell you here over the years if you're interested in some more hot takes, especially Philly hot takes. I'm full of them. But two great minds think alike. Me, Nick Wright, same pedestal of sports commentary. Both have the very same Nick Sirianni take. I honestly think it's an easy take, though, Brian. I don't think it's that far fetched. I really think that fan base is going to get itchy and get some trigger finger with the way they're going to possibly perform this year. We've seen a lot of people talk about the regression of Jalen Hurts. I had it here first. If it happens, just remember that. So a lot of people. I was early to this. Maybe a season early. Who knows? But I was early to this. So Nick, you're welcome. Anytime you need any more, just hop in the DMs and we'll get you some more takes, especially if they're Philly takes, my friend.
Good grief. Yeah, we know you're very humble too. Um, oh man. Yeah. What else? You gonna say anything else before we close out the show?
I think I've said enough for today, Brian. But I do think I'm excited. Let's take a minute to just football is back. I think is it tomorrow night the Hall of Fame game. We actually have pad cracking real football on. I want to say it's this week. College camps start here this week. We're getting close to like that, not to having football every week until like February. Like look at this. We have lasted baseball season. We've outlasted it. We won. We're here. Enjoy the rest of your summer and just get ready for some football.
Cannot wait, baby. It's so exciting. What an exciting time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for following us. Thank you for listening in tonight. Please, as usual, like, subscribe, the comments, Jeffrey, multiple people tonight. Jeffrey was the main one. Thank you so much. Make sure you go and follow us on Twitter or X, whatever people call it these days. Like I said, there is a giveaway that we'll be doing, especially for Browns fans. If you want a signed Tim Couch 8x10, you're more than welcome to have at it. So again, we thank you for following us. Go follow the network. We love you guys.